perspective of the moon today, and I better let Buddy go and pilot the camera because we're going to be showing you how I find some of these anomalies and present them to you on YouTube. Okay, Buddy, there you go. Oh, wait, say hi to the nice people there on YouTube. Hi, nice people. Buddy is going to be my technician for the day. There you go. Not. Anyway, getting back to my presentation today is Tycho crater. Tycho crater is one of 3 craters I'm very interested in that face us, that are faced towards us. You could say on this side of the moon. The moon rotates once a month, so a day on the moon is actually 1 month long. So all sides technically get sunlight. It's just instead of 24 hours, they have a 1 month day up there. And when I say they, the side of the moon that's faced towards us has 3 craters that really interest me. There's tech all over the moon, don't get me wrong, but 3 large craters have 3 large bases with cities, literal cities around these bases. Today we're going to be talking about a southern area of the moon called Tycho crater, and I'm going to show you how I find some of these anomalies, plus go over some of the things that I found on in the area of Tycho. Okay, so a lot of the finds are just made on this little 19-inch monitor behind me. It's high def, but we also have a 50-inch TV high def, and I can pump what's ever on this monitor over to that TV. So I will do that, and we'll zoom in on some of these pictures. Okay, here we have a 50-inch display of the central area of Tycho crater. This image is brought to us by the kind folks of JAXA, taken by their Selene Kaguya satellite. And anyway, I'll just point out some things that interest me. If you look right here, there's an area that comes out. It looks like a bridge. And there's some kind of facility here with a pipe coming out of it, a large pipe, could be an entranceway of some sort. You have another facility here that's got a courtyard almost like a castle, and it's in a rectangular facility. And then at the very top of this, there's a vessel that looks like a submarine. What's a sub doing on top of a mountain? Almost a Noah's Ark story on the moon. So I think it's a spacefaring vessel. There could be some aquatic attributes to it. Inside the moon, we'll talk about that later. They found a lot more water up there than they think, and it could be like a solid crust around like a water mantle of sorts. Over here, we have a ship that's a lot like, it's got wings and a tail, almost like something you'd see in the NAZCA lines. And here we have actual tracks in the sand of something that's moved, like a big crawler of some kind that they're using on the moon. And there's a city back here and some kind of city here. You can see the streets partitioned off, and in these edifices here there's pipes and production things that look a lot like commercial facilities you'd see on Earth today. And there, when I zoom in on this ship, you'll see back in here, you'll see some of the doorways to these hangar bases. And basically that's it. We're going to zoom in on those pictures for you. Here's the big screen, and I actually get people to help me point these out. I see something, I say, what do you think? They give me feedback. So it's not just me. There's a lot of people seeing these objects on the moon. This is Tycho crater. This is the central area. And I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've located here. See the ship over here? Here's the bridge area. I've actually drawn a bridge-like or launch ramp that depicts what I'm seeing here. See, this is what I've drawn, and this is the actual structure here. Here's the sub up here in the corner, and see the city behind it? There's the conning tower. There's the fins on both sides of the conning tower, port and starboard. And you can see the doorways into these hangar bays at the back, almost like cathedral-like ramp areas here. It's almost like steps to a dome, like a Colosseum. And another picture. There's the NAZCA bird. Here's my drawing of it. There's almost like a feeder line going into the nose of it. Either it's picked up something and it's distributing it to this tower or this base at the back of the mountain, or it's being unloaded with something. I think these are like huge abduction vessels, not just for abducting people and crops and animals, but also for taking on fresh water. Not that there isn't a lot of water under the moon's crust, but they're starting to find that there is. All kinds of resources, and these things go to the various rings of Saturn, different rainforests, even above Stephenville cattle ranches in the United States. And I'd like to thank Ricky Skaggs Ricky Skaggs. I'd like to thank Ricky Sorrells for his depiction of the mile-long craft that was over Stephenville. There you have something that looks like the NAZCA lines. And so, yes, we'll go to some other pictures here. Here's a base that I've shown on another picture. This is on the back side of that mountain ridge. Large tower here. Looks like a ship with almost warp engines on the back. And there's a V-shaped fighter craft right here. I don't know if it's a fighter craft, but it's Concord shaped. I'd like to go to an earlier picture by NASA back in the 60s. They sent a lander up to one of the city-like areas behind, more along the crater rim. And if you look closely, you can see the structures. There's the head of one bird. I think it's one of the hummingbird craft of the NAZCA lines. There's another one coming out of this V-shaped hangar. But you can see the city structures, almost like Aztec architecture all the way around. And here you have big petroglyphs, animal shape up front here. But look at the head of this craft here, the wings here. I think it's almost like a launch bay. Here is a contrast adjusted and brightness enhanced picture for your comparison to the first two originals that I just shown. Up here is the ship. I'll be showing a zoom on that. And over here is the maintenance facilities, and there's a city area in the background here. And of course, our NAZCA ship friend is right here with an appendage going up to the service, almost like a pipeline. First of all, I'll point them out. Whatever was on the ship is transferred. There's a bridge-like structure protruding from the halfway up the mountain in the center of Tycho crater. On the top here is a ship of some sort, and it is almost sub-shaped, and I'll show the conning tower in a zoom in later on. Just below that is a castle-like structure, and I think it's some kind of a place where these things are serviced, almost like you'd bring a sub into a harbor or whatever, but possibly it's a spaceship of some kind. But there is new evidence out that the interior of the moon isn't as solid as was once thought, and it's mostly comprised of water. That's a whole different topic. I'm sure Richard Hoagland will cover that on enterprisemissions.com. But with all the water they're finding in these impact, and even India sent a satellite up there which found a lot of water in the soil. Subterranean oceans are very possible, and I think these aquatic craft are not only space able, but they're definitely shaped like something we might see operating in our own oceans. So that said, down here on the right is another city. There's pipelines and various things going through this complex. It almost looks like it's some kind of service for the subterranean facilities on the moon. And in the back corner over here, we have a ship with wings and a tail, which looks much like one of the Phoenix craft in the NAZCA lines. I'll zoom in on those on this original, and then we'll cut to some contrast altered pictures on the top of the mountain for your comparison. Thank you. Area of Tycho crater in the southern portion of the moon. And if you look at this, you can see the conning tower, which is close to 1/2 kilometer in height. And the body of the sub, the nose area, or nose cone area, and almost 2 pipes that head along the top deck of the sub towards the conning tower, and the 2 fins that protrude from the port and starboard side of the conning tower near the top, so much like a nuclear created here by submarine that you would see. And the angels, with a loving Father, they were allowed to assist in creation. And the Nephilim and the Annunaki and their masters, the Watchers, corrupted that creation and tried to make a recreation in their recreation. But it's ultimately failed, and Jesus paid the price on the cross, paid for all our mistakes, and your hopes in Him, and not anything that science can do or these watchers on the moon. So anyway, John 16:33, Jesus says to take heart because He overcame the world, and put your hope in that, and nothing that any of these space photos could show us. But it's my take on the moon, Iaptus, Venus, and all the terraformed planets like Mars and some of the other moons of Saturn. They were also eventually supposed to be world ships. The New Jerusalem's coming. She's 1,500 miles long, 1,500 miles wide, and these things are all obsolete battle stars. So my hope's in the coming Lord, and nothing other than His truth. The Word of God, it's in 66 books written to us, 67 if you include the book of Enoch, which I do, and written by at least 40 authors who were God-inspired. And Jesus is my hope. And Buddy and I would like to thank you for watching and listening to our take on some of the things I've shown you. Say goodbye, buddy, to the nice people of YouTube, and hopefully you've enjoyed our presentation.